Welcome friends to this session. In this session, we'll be discussing one more topic from C programming language. We will discuss the different control structures that are available in C language. You will find that in this session, we will answer the question how the decision making is implemented in C and what are the different structures that are available that can be used for implementation of the decisions. As you know that you are viewing this channel, you are viewing this session on my YouTube channel, Learn with Prakash Khanale. And as I say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Decision making is an important aspect of the life. You will find that in real life, we always need to make decision now and then. Almost every day, we need to decide certain things. So for example, if you are learning in class 10, then after class 10, whether you want to go for a arts faculty, science faculty, or commerce faculty, that you need to decide. After learning class 12 in science, you need to decide whether you want to opt for a computer science course or whether you want to opt for mathematics course or any other course, depending upon your interest. So decisions are required. So in programming languages also, there must be some facility by which the decisions can be implemented. You will find that in C programming language, normally the statements in any program are executed sequentially. That is, first of all, the first statement will be executed, then the second statement will be executed, and in that way, all the statements are executed. But many times in programming, when we want to implement the decision, then we want to change the flow of the program. That is, we need to control the flow of the program based on certain condition. So the flow of the program can be changed by using the facility that is being provided in the programming language, and that is being called as a control structures. So in C programming language also, you will find that there are different control structures provided with the help of which we can change the flow of the execution of the program. Basically, you can say that there are two types of control structures that are available in C programming language. The first one is called as a conditional control structure, where we will be changing the flow of the program based on certain condition. And another is being called as the loop control structure. In the loop control structure, we will repeatedly execute certain part of the program unless and until some condition is satisfied. Now, in this session, we'll be discussing only this conditional part, and loop control part we will discuss it later because we want to keep this video length short, and therefore we will discuss only the conditional control structures that are available in C programming language. So these conditions are always being practiced by us. Say for example, this is a rainy season, and if it rains outside, then probably you will decide that you will not go out and you will stay at the home only. So such type of the conditions, it can also be implemented in programming also. You will find that the conditional structure, or sometimes it is also called as the conditional statement. The conditional statements are used to make the decision, and they make the decision based upon the certain condition. Now in C programming language, the condition can be called as a Boolean condition or a Boolean expression. And this Boolean expression can have only two values, either a true value or a false value. So any non-zero value in C is being treated as a true, and a zero value is being treated as a false. So there are three different types of structures that are available and that can be called as the conditional statements in C programming language. The first one is called as the if statement. So this is a simple if statement which can be used for checking of the condition. Another statement is the if else statement. That is, you can attach one else part to this if statement, and this becomes an if else statement. And there is another statement that is being used in C programming language, and that is being called as a multipath statement, and its name is the switch statement. So in this session, we will understand what is the syntax that is being associated with if if else, and switch. And also we will understand with some examples how these statements or how these conditional structures can be used in programming. You will find that it is possible that you can make the use of multiple if statement. It is also possible that you can make the use of multiple if else statement if it is needed. Even it is possible that the nesting of if statement or nesting of if else statement can also be achieved while programming. Now let us first of all understand what is the if statement in the C programming language. If statement, uh, in this diagram you will find that there is a semantics that is being explained. So whenever we study any statement in a programming language, basically we understand two things. The first one is what is the syntax associated, and then what is the semantic associated. The syntax will tell you how exactly this statement is being written, and the semantic will tell you what exactly will happen when the statement is executed. So let us first of all understand the syntax of the if statement. The if statement is written like this. First of all, you have to write this keyword if. If is a keyword. Then in the bracket, you have to write down some condition or expression. So any arithmetic expression or any Boolean expression can be written over here. And you will find that this expression must return either a true value or a false value. And then you put a curly bracket, and within a curly bracket you write down some number of statements, and this is being called as a block of the statement. So when you write multiple statements together, then that becomes the block of the statement. So this block is being called as an if block of the statement. So initially we will check for the condition. If the condition returns a true value, then you will find that this if block of the statement will be executed, and then the control of execution will be transferred to the next statement. But if the condition is false, then you will find that the control of execution will directly be transferred to the next statement. That is, in this case, when the condition is false, this if block of statement will never be executed. Now, let us understand one simple example how this if statement can be written. Say, for example, if I write a code, if in the bracket I put a condition n modulo division 2 equal to 0. Now, this is a condition which will check, depending upon the value of n, whether it is completely divisible by 2 or not. If it is completely divisible by 2, then this condition will be true. And in that case, we will print the message that the number is even. So if this condition is false, then you will find that this block of the statement will never be executed, and the control of execution will be transferred to the next statement within the program. Now, this if statement will provide one way or one path. You will find that it is possible to extend this if statement by attaching an else part. So let us understand how this else part is. So the syntax for the if else statement is like this. If, this is a keyword, then in the bracket you put some condition or expression. The condition or expression can be any Boolean expression or any arithmetic expression, and it must return either a true value, that is a non-zero value, or a false value, that is a zero value. Then in the curly bracket we write the number of statements, and this becomes the if block of the statement. Afterward, we write another keyword else, and after else again we put some curly brackets, and in the curly brackets we write another block of the statement, and this becomes the else block of statement. So the semantic of this if else statement is something like this. Initially we will check for the condition, if condition. If it is true, then the if block of the statement will be executed, and then the control of execution will be transferred to the next statement within the program. If the condition is false, then in that case else block of the statement will be executed, and the control will be transferred to the next statement. So you will find that either this if block of the statement is executed or the else block of the statement is executed, but in no case you will find that both the blocks will never be executed. So either this one will be executed or else block will be executed. So let us understand one simple example how this statement can be used within a program. So for example, if I write a if statement n modulo division 2 equal to 0, then I will print the message that the number is even. Means if this condition is true, then the number is even. Else otherwise, I can print the message that the number is odd. So there is only possibility that either the number will be even or the number will be odd. You know that in if statement, we can have only two paths. But if you want to have more than two paths within a programming, then in that case, there is a facility that is being provided in C programming language that you can use the multi-path statement, and such statement is being called as a switch statement. So let us understand what is the syntax that is being associated with the switch statement. In the switch statement, first of all, we will write the keyword switch. Then in the bracket, we put some expression or condition, and this expression or condition must return some value. And these values must be the values that are associated with the cases. That is, either it should be a value 1, or it should be a value 2, or it should be a value 3, like this. So you will find that this expression will be evaluated, and then we write the word case. So case is also a keyword like a switch word, and then this is a value 1. So this value 1 can be the value of this expression. And then we put a colon, and then we write a block of statement. And this becomes the case 1 block statement. And after that, you can write a break statement. Similarly, we can write for case, another case, on a case value 2. So if this expression returns a value 2, then this block of the statement will be executed. And again, you can put a break over here. Now this break statement will transfer the control of execution outside the switch statement. Similarly, you can put another case, say for case value 3, and then you can write the case 3 block of the statement. So in this way, you can continue to write many number of cases, n number of cases. And finally, if required, then you can put a default block and write the keyword default, then the colon, and then you can put over here some number of statements, and this is being called as a default block of the statement. And finally, you need to close this inverted bracket. So you need to close this bracket. So you will find that in case of this statement, initially we will evaluate the expression. This expression must return some value. You will find that this value should be either value 1 or value 2 or value 3 or like that, isn't it? And you will find that none of these values, value 1, value 2, value 3, should not match with each other. Means every value should be a distinct value. Now, if this switch expression returns a value 1, then you will find that the case 1 block of the statement will be executed, and then the control will be transferred to the next statement within the program. If value 1 do not match, then the value of the expression will be compared with the value 2. And if the value 2 matches, then the case 2 block of the statement will be executed, and the control will be transferred to the next statement within the program. If it doesn't match, then another value will be tried, that is the value 3 will be tried. So in this way, if there are n number of values, then you will find that the value written by the expression will be matched with all such values, and accordingly the corresponding case block statement will be executed. If none of these values matches, then in that case a programmer may write a default block, and the default block will not have any condition or matching of the value, and you will find that this default block will always be executed. That is, finally, if none of this value matches, then finally this default block statement will be executed. So you will find that this default block statement is not a compulsory part, it is an optional part. If the programmer needs to write a default block, then only he can write. If the programmer wants to avoid this default block, then of course he can avoid this default block. And also, while using this statement, one need to take care that these values must be different from each other. They should not match with each other, and this expression must return a value which will get matched with either one of these values. So this is a very useful statement in C programming language, where the programmer will get the facility to have a multiple path instead of only two paths, as in case of the if statement. Now let us consider a simple program in C, and let us see how this switch statement can be used. Now suppose this is a program where I need to include the stdio.h header file, standard input output header file. Suppose this is my main function, and return type of the main function, I am keeping it as a void. So main should have some return type. Either you can use it as an integer, or many times you can use it as a void also. Now suppose there is a variable declared character operator, and there are two numbers which are integer numbers. Now I ask the user to enter the operator. So there are four possible operations: plus, minus, multiplication, and division. Now we are asking the user to enter any operator symbol, and we are reading it by using the scanf function. Now once this operator symbol is read by the program, then we ask the user to enter the two numbers, and these two numbers again can be read by using the scanf function. Now what we want to do in this program is that based on the operator symbol that is being entered by the user, we will perform the corresponding operation. That is, if the user enters a plus operation, then we will perform the addition of the two numbers. If the user enters a negation operation, then we will perform the subtraction of the two numbers. If the user enters a multiplication operator, then we will perform the multiplication of the two numbers, or we will perform the division of the two numbers if the operator entered is slash. So we will write the switch here. In the bracket, we will write the operator. So this is the operator, and operator should match with the case values. Now my first case is the plus symbol. If the symbol is plus, then we will perform the addition of the two numbers. If the symbol is minus, then we will perform the subtraction. If the symbol is star or asterisk, then we will perform the multiplication of the two numbers. If the input symbol is slash, then we will perform the division of two numbers. And if the user enters by mistake, suppose none of these operators, user enters something else, then in that case we will put a default block, and we will ask the user to enter the proper operator. Now this is a small code for the C program where we are making the use of the switch statement. Now this code you can type it in the editor, where the editor is being available with your compiler. Or if you do not have any compiler installed on your computer, you can go online and you can search for C compiler, and there is an editor window, and in the editor window you must type this program without any mistake. Now if you compile this program or execute this program, then you can get the result something like this. So initially the message will be printed to the user to enter an operator. Suppose the operator entered is plus, and the two numbers that are being provided in the standard input are 12 and 25. Then you will find that the message that will be displayed is 12 plus 25 is equal to 37. So thank you friends for viewing this presentation. I hope that you have understood how exactly the control structure like conditional structures are implemented in the C programming language. Now, as far as the loop structures are concerned, we will have another session where we will discuss how the loop structures can be implemented by using C programming language. Thank you for viewing this presentation. If you want to write any comments, then of course you can give your comments. And if you have any queries, then you can ask me queries. Thank you all for